This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Kia ora, good evening, I'm Anastasia Munzer. The finishing touches are being put on a top Dunedin restaurant after a fire forced its closure almost 9 months ago. Number 7 Balmac is set to reopen this week following a blaze which ripped through the popular Māori Hill restaurant in August last year. For owner Katrina Tuvey, the experience has taught her a lot.
Being left with 35 staff and no business would be any restaurateur's worst nightmare. For Katrina Tuvey, it became a reality in August last year when a fire in the ventilation system and roof space of a 10-year-old restaurant, Number 7 Balmac in Māori Hill, caused considerable damage.
It's been pretty challenging, but, well, completely unexpected fire, of course, so, you know, you're not prepared.
Tuvey admits if she knew then what she knows now, she might not have reopened. The extensive damage meant she found herself in a situation she hadn't faced before in her 25 years in the restaurant business. But the opportunity to open up a pop-up version of Number 7 Balmac in the Octagon saved the business.
If we didn't have that, I don't really know what would have happened, but I've managed to keep all my core staff and they've been really supportive, which has meant that I could focus on the rebuild here.
And despite the worry about not being open, Tuvey decided to make the most of the situation.
Having that break has given us time to really think about what's important and to look at how we do things and probably add be a bit more playful.
There's now a new layout downstairs and some new features to the restaurant, but fans shouldn't be worried about any major changes to the menu.
We always felt pretty good about what we were doing, so we definitely have kept that fantastic aspect that we love, and I know our customers do.
While slightly nervous about this week's reopening, Tuvey believes it'll all come together in Dunedin the South today.
Cadbury's withdrawal from Dunedin last year has hit its bottom line. Revenue has slumped more than $80 million and before tax profit more than halved to just over $31 million. Mondelez owned Cadbury pulled out of its profitable Dunedin plant last year with a loss of more than 350 jobs. It also closed tourism attraction Cadbury World when the site was sold for the new Dunedin hospital build. Notes from the annual report of Mondelez New Zealand Investments make no mention of what's behind the revenue decline. Tyree Beach school pupil Danielle Hawkins can breathe easy now that her classmates have learnt the symptoms of asthma and how to help her in the event of an attack. As part of World Asthma Day, children learnt about what can trigger asthma attacks, what they feel like for asthmatics, and how they can manage it in an emergency.
Getting a feel for what it's like to be out of breath. Taieri Beach school pupils try breathing through straws to understand what asthma can be like. World Asthma Day gave them a chance to learn how hard it is to breathe when you have an asthma attack.
We had brown paper bags and they drew the lungs and the windpipe on them, and then they had the straws. We attached them to the top of the bags and then they had to blow the bags up, and it gave them an idea of what happens when you breathe into the lungs, and then they had actually a visual of what it would be like for somebody who had asthma. Their lungs wouldn't inflate as much.
Danielle Hawkins was born with asthma. Pollen, smoke and exercise can trigger an attack any time. She follows a regime of using her colour-coded inhalers several times a day.
I have my orange and my blue one every night, and at school when I'm feeling wheezy and as soon as I wake up.
Living with a lung condition in a remote area, far from help from emergency services, is a challenge. But her classmates now know how to respond if she has an attack.
We had Danielle come into the classroom and pretending she had an attack, and then the children had to go to her and say, "Are you all right?" And she would shake her head because she couldn't talk with the asthma. And then the children would get her to sit down and then ask whether she needed her inhaler, and she would nod, and they would run off and get the inhaler, give it to her, and then go and get an adult.
Statistics suggest in a class of 30 children, at least 4 will have asthma. At Taieri Mouth for the South Today.
A driver was left with minor injuries after crashing into a power pole in Halfway Bush this morning. Police, fire and ambulance attended the crash on Gilkinson Street. A white sedan had crashed into a power pole, leaving its front driver's door crumpled and its windscreen smashed. Police say they were alerted just after 8:30 and the driver is understood to have sustained minor injuries. The University of Otago Research Fellow is encouraging a new generation of school pupils to take an interest in bugs and even build hotels for them to live in. Dr. Cynthia Winkworth is working with pupils from 3 Dunedin schools, teaching them how to scientifically research invertebrates.
Sifting through leaf litter and dirt while on the hunt for bugs. Zaria, Lena and Cooper from Green Island School learning about the habitats of creepy crawlies, which in turn provide food for the city's bird life.
Seem to be learning at school. Ooh, a fantail. It's right above us.
So the Peripatus Schools project is encouraging children to get out into their urban environment and look for bugs and help create urban sanctuaries for these bugs, just using sticks and dirt and getting them aware of their habitats.
Dr. Cynthia Winkworth has been working with about 200 Dunedin pupils over the past year to develop their understanding of scientific research.
They write down what they've found, what kind of bugs they've found, and then with that data they are using it back in the classroom to do their maths and stats and story writing. So they're seeing the whole spectrum of what science can feed into.
She says the project is helping young people learn about their potential impact on the environment.
We're creating this new generation of children who are aware of their surroundings and that they have an influence on what happens to their environment.
The project is a government-funded initiative with a 10-year goal of encouraging science and technology for all New Zealanders. In Dunedin, for the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, Dunedin's cruise ship season brought over 150,000 passengers into the city, with research revealing they were a remarkably satisfied lot. And we take a look at some Christchurch schools that are preparing for Polyfest.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent. And where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
At Green Island Medical Centre, we are committed in caring for our future and present generations. We know as a young person, coming to the doctors can be quite daunting. Our highly skilled doctors and nurses will make your experience one where you will leave with a smile. Your health is very important to us.
Every Kiwi deserves a reliable garage door. Rely on Garador to protect your important stuff. Just like Darren. His Garador keeps his favourite ride in mint condition. We have a huge range at affordable prices. Visit our website for a free consultation. We stand behind every door.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
come on, mate. The blue doesn't go with the brown.
Welcome back. Dunedin's cruise ship season brought over 150,000 passengers into the city, with research revealing they were a remarkably satisfied lot. 115 vessels visited this season, with that number set to increase. Port Otago cruise manager Carolyn Bennett says it's estimated 2/3 of the nearly 230,000 passengers left the ships to visit Dunedin while they were in port. Marketing data has also revealed the average age of passengers is decreasing. They were fitter and more adventurous, and many more Chinese passengers are coming to New Zealand. A remarkable 95% of survey respondents were satisfied or extremely satisfied with their experience, and 98% said they would recommend Dunedin as a place to disembark. Christchurch schools are preparing for Polyfest, and today the intensity of the rehearsals has begun to ramp up as the event draws near.
It just fills me up to see that these girls are still embracing our culture, still carrying on traditions.
Mahiraka is a senior Pacifica student. She's also a deputy Māori student as well, so she's Fijian and Māori.
This year we're incorporating like Fijian, Tongan, Samoan. Yeah, we're just incorporating like all of our cultures and like showing them to everyone.
Because I am now living in New Zealand, I am no longer in Samoa. But this is the only way for me to express my culture, and it's the only way for me to be with my culture, like connect with people, and it's also the only chance for me to learn other new cultures aside from English and Samoa.
Personally, I love the salsa. I think most people do. Yeah. It looks like really tricky, so like when you like can do it well, like it just looks so cool.
Your guys' performance straight up from top to bottom, it's just what's cool about it is that there's no repeated moves. Like every single move has its own place.
For me, it's quite a big thing. For me, being I'm a half Samoan, so I don't only get to represent half of my culture, and sometimes it's a bit difficult putting my culture out. So this is all definitely big for me. One of the only times I get to represent. So and definitely learning. You know, I'm still learning everything about my culture, and Polyfest really helped me through that. Especially from a young age, growing up, I came in Polyfest really not knowing anything about my culture. The boys, we've got quite a young group this year, so it's been a bit difficult teaching them. A lot of first year Polyfest boys, but we've come together all good. We've come together good, and the leaders have really stepped up. Our year 13 group isn't as big as other years, so it's been a bit difficult with that. But we're definitely ready for the competition, and it should be good on the day.
Going back to our heritage, knowing our culture and getting to learn more about it.
And so we can show our grandparents, show our papas and nanas what we've been learning.
And a lot of the ideas actually in the performance are from the kids themselves. And we just try and flesh that out as best way as we can. And if we see something that we like that they're doing, we're like, hey, add that in there. Why didn't you guys add that in there? That's you guys, that's not us. We all grew up in Aranui. We all grew up together doing Polyfest at a young age, from primary school through to intermediate and high school. And we actually came up together tutoring as well. Other schools, not just the school, but we've been doing the school now together for about 3 years now.
We've been friends, us three have been friends since, pretty much primary school, as they say. I do singing, Junior does singing, us all actually acts. So we're just trying to put our skills into these guys in a way that they will understand.
We grew up tutoring ourselves. We didn't have any tutors when we were young.
Whoever's years was next day, pretty much the seniors of that year would have to tutor the rest of the group.
So I guess it's trying to take the reins off of these boys once these boys are done. So me and one of the other boys, Josh, we try to gain as much knowledge as we can from these boys. Just try and, I guess, put together something of our own one day, 1 year.
After the break on the South today, the Highlanders are looking to put the injury to Ben Smith behind them as they prepare to take on the Juarez this weekend. And we take a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT and the weather.
The Green Island Medical Centre offers everything for your family's needs. Whether you are travelling or coming in to discuss health symptoms, our medical staff provide the best of care. We offer Manage My Health, making booking an appointment or requesting a repeat prescription a breeze. We welcome families like yours. Give us a call today, phone 03 488 2754.
Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician, for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
Most of us have spots on our skin. That's quite normal. Finding skin cancer as early as possible is key to successful treatment. Book in for a free check of 1 to 2 moles or a comprehensive full body check with the Mole Doctor in Waverley.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Autumn is here and it's too late to sow seed, but don't despair. Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Every Kiwi deserves a reliable garage door. Rely on Garador to protect your important stuff. Just like Darren. His Garador keeps his favourite ride in mint condition. We have a huge range at affordable prices. Visit our website for a free consultation. We stand behind every door.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Ricky here from Beds R Us Dunedin, your local sleep specialists. Come in and try our huge touchscreen sleep selector, taking the hard work out of choosing the right bed for you. See you here.
Welcome back. The Highlanders are looking to put the injury to Ben Smith behind them as quickly as possible as they prepare to take on the Juarez this weekend. The Southerners were chasing 3 wins on the trot but came unstuck with the draw against the Chiefs last weekend and losing their key playmaker in the process.
Some soul-searching for the Highlanders at training this week after blowing a commanding lead against the Chiefs over the weekend. Their 31-all draw still tough to take.
Yeah, the Chiefs really outpassioned us in, which is actually quite heartbreaking for us. You know, we're a team that really believes in that, and the Chiefs just wanted it more than us, and they just prepared to work harder with guys that were really coming off the bench. They, had Lucy's in their second row, so they did a great job in that respect.
To make matters worse, co-captain and talisman Ben Smith is set to miss the next 6 to 8 weeks as he recovers from a hamstring injury. Teammate Aaron Smith was in a similar position earlier in the season and says the fullback is in good hands.
He'll be having, obviously, Highlanders and the All Blacks medical teams working together, and they got me back earlier than 6 weeks, so been to work really hard to get back, and I'm sure he doesn't want that to be his last Highlanders game.
But he'll certainly miss the rest of the regular season, including this Saturday's clash against the Juarez at Forsyth Bar Stadium.
They're full of athletes and some big physical boys, and look, they'll run pretty hard, and they've scored some really good tries. And you know, they've been playing against big teams, so they're used to dealing with the physicality of the African Conference. We're looking forward to welcoming them to the stadium under the roof, where it'll be hopefully hard and fast.
Another big home crowd's expected at the slightly earlier kick-off time of 5:15 in Dunedin, the South today.
And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome Hayden Meikle, how are you?
Very well, Anastasia, and how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Excellent. Let's have a look. Our lead story tomorrow, we think it's our lead story, is about a bit of a stoush brewing between the Northern Southland Health Company, I think I've got that right, and the SDHB. Now it's over the Lumsden Maternity Centre, which has been in the news. They're going to lose some of their services. As for more of the story, we'll have to wait till tomorrow's paper. The health reporter Mike Houlihan is writing that as we speak.
Okay.
I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. The other big story, which also comes from Southland, is the Bluff Oyster Festival. And I don't know if you've been.
No, I haven't been yet.
I haven't, and I never will. I can't stand oysters, but I know people love them. It's a big deal for that community, the Oyster Festival. It's under a bit of a cloud. The trust that runs it has a serious issue with some old buildings they own. They're listed buildings, I understand.
Yeah.
They can't tear them down, they're struggling to sell them, and the warning has come out today that the festival itself could be at risk if this situation isn't sorted. So huge interest, not just to our Invercargill readers, but I think lots of Dunedin people and wider Otago people like to go to that festival too.
Definitely, yeah.
Out in the regions, Sally Ray and Stephen Jacker have been up in Central Otago today at the Central Otago Hunt. 200 odd people, I think, on horseback, going through the beautiful landscapes of Central Otago, so expect a stunning photo on page 1 from that. The floor of Lake Wakatipu is to be mapped for the first time, an interesting
That's really
yarn.
interesting.
Who knows what sort of things they may discover, wrecks of boats or all sorts of things. And we've got a lovely sports story. You too can own a share of the Otago Nuggets basketball team for just $1,000. They're looking at a sort of community crowdfunding program to get them back in the National Basketball League, which is what we all want. And for just $1,000, you can own a part of the Nuggets. There you go, Anna.
Awesome, I might do that.
Go for it.
$1,000. Awesome, thanks Hayden. And now time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Bulmap.
In today's Southern View, this bicycle braves a blustery Dunedin. Looking at the situation, we have another day of mild northerly airflow tomorrow, with rain in western parts spreading further east during this day as weak fronts in the eastern Tasman make their way onto the South Island. In the southern towns, Balclutha and Catlin, some moderate northerlies, late rain and 17 degrees. Gore and Lumsden prepare for moderate northerlies, some rain and 15 degrees. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes, moderate northerlies are the order of the day over here. Alexandra is in for 19 degrees, Queenstown 17, Te Anau 15 and Wanaka 19. Up to the northern towns, it's moderate northeasterlies again for Oamaru, getting up to 20 degrees. Omarama and Twizel, you appeared with 19 degrees and Timaru hits a warm 20. In Dunedin tonight, mostly fine with an overnight low of 11 degrees. Tomorrow, a warmer 19 and mostly fine with sunny periods and high cloud increasing during the afternoon and some brief spits of rain possible early evening. Light northerly quarter winds. And on Friday, 18 degrees, fine with sunny periods and high cloud, moderate mild northerly winds. Heading to Invercargill, showers clearing tonight with an overnight low of 11. Tomorrow, sunny periods at first, but high cloud increasing and lowering during the day with some scattered light rain from late afternoon. Mild with moderate northerly winds and a high of 16 degrees. And on Friday, fine with sunny periods and a high of 17. And that's the news for this Wednesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.